And go. Alright, this is gonna be my video response to the Amethyst Butterfly, Stories of a Witch. I didn't get to see your whole video all the way through, but I saw the direction that you were going with it, and you were talking about how you came into Wicca or witchcraft. Um, and every time when it cuts out, every time when the video freezes, it gets to the part to where you're talking about things in nature that you started to notice, and that's a lot of that is where it started for me. I didn't have any resources at all when I very first had an interest in witchcraft or Wicca. It was a combination of what I seen on TV and knowing that there was some realness behind the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Not that none of the things weren't authentic, but I mean it's Hollywood. I mean, so they go over the top a lot. You know what I'm saying, with certain things like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Harry Potter, and all the rest of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like they go way, way beyond even with the simplest of teachings and philosophy that a lot of the witches and Wiccan Jews, like they take it and they go to like the 100th power on it. But I mean, enough about that. I noticed certain vibes and a certain feeling I would get when I was sitting near water, and I can't swim or lick. You know what I'm saying? But I would always feel that peacefulness and that tranquility around any kind of water, any body of water. It could be like the smallest of stream, like the stream could only be this wide, just flowing down the street. And if it was running over any kind of soil, like any kind of earth, you know what I'm saying, not like gravel, but like over any kind of earth, I would always have to stop and just soak it in for a second. You know what I'm saying? It was something about climbing up trees and just sitting there and letting the wind just blow over me and blow all my negativity away. You know what I'm saying? And I would envision the wind taking everything bad that was going on in my day at that point in time, and just blowing it away. You know what I'm saying? And then lo and behold, years later, I found Scott Cunningham books and like his Earth Power and his Earth, Air, Fire, Water, and he was more of an elemental practitioner from what I could tell, and I was actually given his book, Wicca, a guide for the solitary practitioner, from a practicing couple, and the original book that they gave me is somewhere in my storage unit, and I couldn't find it for love nor money. I found it, set it aside, decided I was gonna sit down and actually read it, study it, so get into it. Set it somewhere, couldn't find it, ended up having to go buy it, but whatever. And 10 Scott Cunningham books later, I mean, I didn't let that stop me. That alongside with and a lot of these books you're gonna hear me mention is in a video, tools and books, where I showed most of them. My most recent book that I got is, let's see if I can pull it up. Sabbats by Eden McCoy. I'm not halfway through it yet, but I'm loving it. I definitely recommend it. You know what I'm saying? Just a little quick little throw in there. You know what I'm saying? The first, also, Wicca for Beginners by Thea Sabin, I've shown in one of my other videos too, and I've actually found that where a lot of things where she kind of went off of explaining Wicca, like as far as like path working and seeing auras and stuff like that. That I found that came across that again in Sabat's, the book I just showed you. So I went back to this book and started reading it for like the fifth time, and I found out that a lot of the information was there. It just presented it in a different way. Both of those books are really easy to read. Um, this one is really cheap, especially online. Sabat's the price on that just went down to like $13 now. Like it used to be like $21. I mean, um, and along with the Wicca, I also got Living Wicca. You got to get the follow up. You have to get the follow up. You know what I'm saying? These two. You gotta get them both. Um, and that was like my staple was the Wicca for Beginners, the two books I just showed you, and the Complete Book of Witchcraft by Raymond Buckland. And I started with just those four, and eventually I added just different Scott Cunningham books, like his encyclopedia books, like his whole encyclopedia collection, the crystals, gems. I can't think of the other one. Then I ordered Earth Power, Earth, Air, Fire, Water. I ordered those two together. I got his Wicca in the Kitchen and Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs, the Complete Book of Incense, Oils and Brews, Magical Herbalism, and the Magical Household. I got like all of those. Um, and then I found his Book of Shadows. Loved it so much that I gave one to the Wicca Goddess and as a Yule present, because she helped me so much with answering my questions and being patient with me and taking the time to help me along the way. And so many people, so many people I've always tried to give shout outs to, like even the ones that didn't even know that they inspired me that much. The very like video wise, Charming Pixie Flora, Tiptoe Chick, and the Wicked Goddess were my first three. And through the Wicked Goddess, I found Wicked Gem. I can't remember how I found Wicca Alex. I'm gonna mess up his name. I know I am. Oh crap! I cannot remember dude's name. 419. Big Seeking Bear, I believe, and somebody else. I found those three fighting with Captain Oh So Awesome and some other Christians who were just bashing Wicca like it was like the worst thing on earth. And for me personally, that made me want to explore it more. I mean, that made me want to take the little bit I knew or felt that was real, you know what I'm saying, and further explore it. I mean, so you guys, in your own Christian words, you created a silver lining in the cloud. You know what I'm saying? You were the blessing in disguise, even though you are being utterly hateful, which goes against everything that you're taught as a Christian. So and in that light, you guys y'all really need to cut that out. I mean, I'm gonna have to do a whole nother separate video for that, but that's what stirred me up. You know what I'm saying? That's what got me here. And different people I've met in person along the way, Big up to my boy Ray, who's been my study buddy through all of this. The local group that I met and who I celebrated my first Sabbat with. I celebrated Samhain with them this year. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, the pool goddess, for letting me hang out with you even after everybody else left. She let me hang, chill inside the circle. You know what I'm saying? She let me play with a fire pit. You know what I'm saying? Just sit there and meditate for I know a good 2 hours after everybody else is gone. And, you know what I'm saying? So many, so many things that, and it's not even that it was a rebellion for me. You know what I'm saying? Because like some kids that I run into, like they got into Wicca, even though they don't come out and say it, it was more of a rebellion for them. It was more of a going against the grain kind of thing, and that wasn't really my thing. I was always drawn to it. Just nature in general, just being able to feel the spirit and know that there's something else that I wasn't being taught, and not being able to get those answers other than when I got a lot older and I could explore it on my own. I mean, I even remember being, shoot, like 7 years old and taking a bunch of cologne, mixing it with like dish detergent and some other stuff. And I told my mom I was making a witch's brew to kill the ants. It was like some ants that was eating something, and it was like all on the little stoop there. And she asked me what I was doing. Like, what are you trying to mix up there? And I'm like, I'm making my witch's brew. And she's like, your witch's brew? She's like, what is that? And I told her what I put in it, and she just bust out laughing. She's like, what are you making that for? And I said to kill the ants because the ants are eating they was eating some flowers or something that I had planted. And she was like that's unnecessary. She was like, the ants got their place in the world too. You shouldn't make a witch's brew to kill the ants. You know what I'm saying? She could have went a whole different route with it. You know what I'm saying? She could have tried to burn me at the stake and some more shit. But I mean, and it was the look in her eye like she knew exactly what I meant, but and laughed at me because she knew that I didn't know what I meant yet. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like she was acknowledging that you can make a witch's brew in the sense of creating a protective spell or a binding spell, but she knew that I didn't have enough knowledge yet to really be able to put everything, you know what I'm saying? She knew I was doing it just being a kid. I had heard it somewhere, maybe on TV, and that's what I called myself doing. But she acknowledged the fact, whether she realized it or not, and let me know that there was a such thing. Maybe she wasn't gonna tell me what it was or how to get to it, because at that point in time my intentions were kind of on the bad side. I mean, I really didn't have to kill the ants. You know what I'm saying? Not over that. Now, if they were eating meat, and that would have, then maybe she would have went. Then maybe she would have come out of her mouth with something a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? And that and always seeing the broom, seeing my grandma's broom, like a old straw broom, just like the little besoms and stuff that y'all make or that we make. You know what I'm saying? Hanging up over the threshold, and it never being taken down. And I'm like, what is that for? And she's like, it's symbolic. And I'm like, symbolic of what? And she was like, you're not ready to know yet. And I'm like, I don't even think she ever told me. Really. I mean, she had like a five. Yo, she had a card in the set like this high, dude. That they used to make Brunswick stews in. You know what I'm saying? Down in the country. You know what I'm saying? It's like enough to feed like the whole community, like literally like hundreds of people, like that she used to brew stews with. like you used to cook stews in, and it looked exactly like the big giant witches cauldrons that I would see on the cartoons and stuff.